Lauren, welcome to the show. I'm so happy that you are here. You are a beautiful person with a beautiful spirit. I know that you're going to bless so many people who are listening all around the world to this podcast. Let's start with you sharing who you are and all about the incredible dream that has actually come into fruition with you starting your own program.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. This is a dream, just doing this micro school to begin with. So being able to speak about it on this platform is just, I can't thank you enough for that. I'm so grateful. Um, so a little bit about me. I am Lauren Talbot, as you said. I am from way south, Louisiana. I am from a very small town called Napoleonville. I'm about, to put it in perspective for everybody, I'm about an hour south of Baton Rouge. And then I'm about an hour and a half from New Orleans as well. Very, very south. Um, we have one red light in my town. So as you can imagine, very small town. This idea of a hybrid education or a micro school is very taboo, if you will, in our area because we're small. It's not heard of. And it was a very big leap for me to jump out and do this. So I'll get into that later, but a little bit about me. I am a mother to two daughters, Adley, who's 10, Molly, who is 3, almost 4. I'm married to my high school sweetheart, Ben. Yeah, we went to high school together, dated through high school. So we've been together since 2005, going on 21 years. So it's been a while. So he's been with me through everything. My high school career, college, he saw my visions from start to finish. So this has been rewarding for both of us.
I got
But
goosebumps. Congratulations
thank
on
you.
the very hard thing for couples to start from high school to go through. It's really a blessing that you've been able to do so. It's also been a blessing that someone has known you from your early years, your teenage years, whenever you were still fresh and perspective,
Right.
vision
hmm
to come alongside you. I think it is such a testimony. And to have two children, do they go to your school?
One of them does, my 10-year-old, Adley. Molly needs to break away from me a little bit before she needs to learn structure and all the things not from mom first because she's 3. So she goes to, it's almost like a Mother's Day out situation. We can add hours on so she can do a full day, a half day, and she is thriving in that environment. So I'm hoping eventually she's my second child. So she marches to the beat of her own drum. She's that second child. So she definitely needed to go and experience school and an environment without me first, but she's doing amazing. But Adley, my oldest, is with me and she is thriving as well. We are just so excited about this whole experience. Um, but back to a little about me. I went off to college. My mom is an educator. She's retired from this parish. And I watched her. She went and got her college degree when I was 4 years old. So, like my husband with me, I watched my mom blossom as an educator. Everyone I came in contact with was like, your mom is amazing. Like and she will never admit it. She is a master. She was an ELA teacher, a master of her craft. She can get students to love writing and reading. She was just a magician. I don't know what she did, but she actually comes now part-time and helps me with my students here. So it's very full circle. Um, Crazy enough, things in education system were kind of getting rocky by the time I got into college. Education was not what it was when I was in school. And so my mom was like, you might want to think about something else. She was trying to push me towards another degree. So I did eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I am not medical field by any means. I ended up in accounting, which full
Mhm.
circle is very beneficial now
Good.
because I'm running a business. So I'm thankful I have that bookkeeping in the background. But at the time, you don't know where God is going to lead you. It doesn't make sense. I read my devotional yesterday was actually think of your life as a tapestry. You're weaving the colors and the threads, and you have no idea what this is going to make. And when you turn it over and you get to see the work of art and the masterpiece that all of that thread has led to, it all makes sense. So at the time, my mom pushing me, and I have the goosebumps talking about it because it really is just full circle. My mom pushing me to get my accounting degree truly benefited me because I can run the business. Now, is it difficult, time consuming? Yes, but I have that business mindset. Um, so I graduated in accounting. I worked some accounting jobs for a few years, and I just felt that call to more. Constant tug on my heart, like I can do more, I can do more, meaning I can reach more lives. And I ended up going into education. I went do an alternative certification program after I had my daughter. And I said, when you have a child, things are different. Um, you see it through a totally different lens. And I wanted to help families. I wanted to reach children. So I went to my alt cert and I ended up in middle school math, which, if you know young Lauren, it is bizarre because I was horrible, so I thought, in math as a child. It took one teacher to change my perspective in algebra 1 in high school. I don't know, we clicked. He met me in the middle. He allowed me to learn in the way that benefited me, and the rest is history. I'm a middle school math teacher with an accounting background, which is bizarre. My parents would have said I'm lying if they got to talk to the future me. It's crazy. So, middle school math, I started teaching at our local public school, constant tug to more, to more. I got an opportunity to work at a fully virtual public school here in the state of Louisiana. Shout out to UVA. And during COVID, I was fully virtual. The learning never stopped. When the world shut down, my students and I were still working. And that really hit me because I'm like, okay, what I saw everyone else, I mean, their world stopped, they couldn't go on. And so that made me see the importance of technology in education, needing to evolve with the world. And I not all technology is fabulous, but I can see the importance of some of it. We were still able to Zoom, my classes and I taught them. I connected my iPad and I used it as a whiteboard and they watched me work. I got to pop in, we'd chat. When the rest of the world was feeling isolated, my students and I still had each other and it was seamless. We kept going. So that pushed me to get my master's in educational technology leadership, weaving that tapestry, at the time had no idea. What is crazy is that my capstone course for that master's, I had to build a micro school.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Right down to I had to make a handbook. What building would I use? What would be my cap for enrollment? Like, once again, no idea, weaving the tapestry. And so I did that, kind of had my master's and just thought, I'll use that one day. Or it's just, I'm gonna be honest with you, I originally did it to have the resources, yes, but get that pay increase. Put me at that next jump at the time. Kept feeling called to more. And then they wanted me to make the commute, the fully virtual school 5 days a week, and it was going to be a 3-hour round trip drive. And I just couldn't do it with my girls. So I had to make a move and I went into another private school setting, which was where I was up until last year. I cannot explain. I keep saying I felt that tug. it was an actual voice that kept telling me, you need to be doing more. And I say more as in, you have, and I don't want to say this and sound snooty or, boasting. I say this being very humble. I was being told, you have to surrender, let me guide you on your path. So I started truly in December of last year. I said, God, this is you. You take this, I am stubborn. And I said these actual words, whatever you want me to do, whatever I'm called to do, you will have to literally slap me in the face with it, because I have so much doubt in myself, in situations, that if this would have just, popped into my path, Lauren, you're going to open a micro school. I would have laughed. There's no way. And it's unheard of here. So I continue, when I tell you, I prayed the surrender prayer every single day of my life until May, when I was approached with the opportunity to open a micro school. And I said, Lord, you slapping me in the face with it.
Wow.
And there was a series of events that it was a tapestry that lined up, that to where when this was presented to me, I knew it was God, and that was it. Like, this is what I need to be doing. There was a point, it was the last day of school, and parents were asking me, we know you leaving, like, where are you going? And I literally said, wherever God takes me. Because at the last day of school, I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew God told me, be patient. My husband, like I said, watched it unfold. So he trusted too. And he said, I trust you. I trust God. Where you need to be, you're gonna end up. The last day of school, I got in my car, buckled my seatbelt. I'm not lying to you. My daughter's in the back seat. She's my witness. I got a call presenting all this to me. What do you think about opening the school? And I said, God had me on this path, and this is where I'm going to be, and this is what I'm going to do. That was May 26th, maybe. And my school was up and running we started on August 7th. So
congratulations.
yeah.
Confetti in the air.
I'm still throwing confetti and pinching myself. My goal at that time, I didn't even know how I would make this work. I had no blueprint besides the one that I made with my master's course. I immediately dove in. I was consumed by it, which led me to find you. I was Googling hybrid school, like just anything I could find. I was contacting people. And if you know me, and the people who watch this that know me know, I will talk to a brick wall. I am not afraid to ask anyone for anything. So I was emailing people at the State Department, like, what do I have to do? I saw a need for this here, for options. And because we are such a small area, it is no one person's fault. We are just limited on resources. I told you, we have one red light to really focus in on the fact that we don't have many businesses here. We don't have a booming economy in this parish that can fund our schooling. So it's very difficult to find options. We have our public school system, and that's it. And parents, and I'm not to say that it doesn't work for everyone, because some people love it, but not everyone is cut to the same mold. They need options. Students need things that are different. I've been in the classroom. I get it. When you have 30 kids in your class, it is very difficult to meet a child where they need to be met. This environment allows me to do that much easier than I was in a classroom, because students are working individually, and I can pull students based on their needs as the others are working individually on their content. So I'll get more into that later, but that's just a little bit of how I got here. It was and what's crazy is in April, I was scrolling TikTok, and I came across a TikTok that stopped me in my tracks, and it said, you need to listen to this. And I know, your TikTok can sometimes be controlled by what is it, your algorithm. But it said, listen to this, and it quoted a Bible scripture, and it said, things in your life will move so quickly that your head will spin. And it that stopped me. And if you see, I mean, I started this school in August. I was approached with the idea pretty much June 1st. And now I have 30 kids, and I had to have a wait list because we are busting at the seams. I'm in a tiny little house because I thought 10 kids, I can break even. I'm actively looking for a larger building because I am, which breaks my heart, having to turn people away because I can't fit anymore. So when I tell you my head is spinning, it's spinning. That's how fast we're moving. It's
Yes.
it's been a whirlwind.
I am listening to your story. I didn't want to interject, but there were so many moments of awe that I felt as you shared your story so eloquently. Thank you so much for your transparency.
Thank you for letting me share it.
Yes, of course. And we want to clarify the year that you stepped away was 2025?
This May 2025. So what is that?
Mm,
3.5 months.
right. It is September 2025. We did not hear you say that you left in May of 2024. You live in a small town where there are not any other options. Probably, as you mentioned, taboo. Why are you breaking away from what everybody has always done? Why are you, families, choosing something off the beaten path because we're all accustomed to the traditional way and everybody wants to feel a sense of belonging?
Correct.
I really appreciated, and I wrote this down, the weaving of the tapestry. So beautifully given as a metaphor, talking about the doubt and finding all of the reasons why it couldn't happen or why you couldn't step away. I'm sure you specifically remember the moment that you heard that audible voice.
Yes, ma'am.
And for me, it was the same. It was first came the call. The call is not audible, but it's like this sound around you, but it's not a sound. It's this,
That's almost why I call it a tug,
yeah,
because I knew I needed to be moving in a different direction. And I've always heard people say, God speaks to you all day long. You have to be willing to hear. And you can't explain it until you experience it. Because now that me and God are vibing on that level, I hear him all day long. I opened my devotional yesterday, and I read about that tapestry, and that is no coincidence that I had this scheduled today. And I was able to put, and I was like, oh my gosh, I used to call it stepping stones. Like every little thing that you go through in your life is a stepping stone, and you don't know where that path is going to lead you, but you trusting in the Lord that you're safe with him. He's putting that stepping stone down for you to finally get to that destination. But when I read the tapestry and the thread and the colors, and I was like, that is it. That is truly it.
and you are so spot on when you talk about the alignment that happens as you step out in faith and you are maybe not 100% sure, you've got the doubt, but you're kind of like the kid who's walking down the stairs because their mom is calling them to dinner, but that they thought that they had something better to do, but you're still
Mm-hmm.
obedient, but you're still
Correct.
like, oh, I don't know. There's all of these physical things that seem to be distracting me and calling me, you, God, calling me. I hear you. I'm trying to understand it all, but it doesn't it doesn't totally click just yet, but you stepping out by just as this I can relate to stepping out of the public school system and having no idea what we were going to do. And then because you surrendered, you were open.
That's it. It was the surrender, no doubt.
Yes. And I appreciate you saying how you were stubborn because that is a real
I
situation.
still am.
Yeah. And there, hey, you put stubborn people on the right track and they were going to move mountains, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
I also appreciated how you said that you were just stepping out, trying to figure out hybrid school. You were Googling, calling people, calling the State Department. I'm sure many of the listeners are like, yes, I've done the same thing. I'm going to the left, I'm going to the right, I'm looking up, I'm looking down, I'm looking for all of the answers. You mentioned that you found the podcast. Did you actually find our hybrid school, Lighthouse Learning, or did you find the podcast on the internet? Did you hear the podcast? What actually brought you to Teacher Let Your Light Shine?
I was on, I think it was Instagram, scrolling, and I typed in, I think it was Microschool or hybrid school, and your picture was the first one that popped up, which is no coincidence. I mean, it is nothing in life is coincidence. And I, so I said, So I clicked it. I read your story, and you shared something about you were making jewelry or something prior to, were you?
Yeah, I was selling jewelry and I just didn't have any substance in it, but I appreciated it. I appreciated communicating and connecting
So
with people.
I, and so this was God saying, you need to connect with her because up until May, I had a permanent jewelry business on the side that, so when I read God does like little things, he gives me connections to know that I'm on the right path. And so your story was basically a mirror. And I said, okay, I need to dig into this. And then I found Teacher Let Your Light Shine. I immediately joined the membership because I'm like, this is what I need. I listened to your podcast from episode 1, put it in my headphones. I did the dishes. I went on walks. My poor children would be like, Mom, because I'd have it in my ear. I'm like, okay, take it out, listen to them, see what they need. I immersed myself in your story because I knew you were in my path for a reason. So you just popped up on Instagram, and from there I just dove right in.
Thank you for sharing. I believe you were, I'm sure, searching for validation. You were searching
Absolutely, 100%.
for connection. And
That I can do it.
absolutely. And did you feel side business wise with the jewelry, you had this creative spark in you? I'm sure there was like this joy of being able to create something. You weren't emotionally connected to the jewelry, but it was the link or the bridge to people. It was the link to being able to be creative, to work from home, to have something that it's not even about the additional income. It's about the additional service. It's about the additional ways that we can serve people, build community.
100%. Mm-hmm.
And it's just interesting so much that I truly believe before we ever knew that we would get into educational entrepreneurship, God was calling us to entrepreneurship, to have that ownership, to have that foundation of creating something to give to the world. And even though that didn't necessarily last for a long time, it was still, as you mentioned, a stepping stone. I would love
Absolutely.
to hear about the actual time. So you listened to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Did you become a part of our Facebook group, the Teacher Learning Light Shine Community Facebook group?
Yes, I did.
And then
Um,
you became a Microschool Mastermind member from there.
so I joined the group, and this was like right before school started. And I went to your website, And it was like crunch time because, I got this grand idea or vision in May, and it's school's about to start. And people were like, so you could do this like next year, right? Like 2026. And I'm like, like I'm starting this year. And this entire journey has been people looking at me like I have three, like, oh, okay. Like, and at any point I could have taken their reaction and thought, I'm crazy. I'm really crazy. What am I doing? And I've questioned myself, but I'm like, nope, this is where I need to be. This is the path. So I continued, and I saw that you shared, it was like a beginning of the school packet with like the things parents sign, things, papers that you would send home at the beginning of the school. So I downloaded that, and I'm like, she's like a genius. So I need all the things. So that's when I joined the masterminds, because and from then, I mean, I'm sure you see me commenting, I'm like obsessed with it because it's so useful. Why reinvent the wheel, when we could be helping each other build this? Because at the end of the day, it's about supporting the families, being a resource for the kids. And so if you have these things that are working, I'm going to use those, tweak them to what my community needs, and have success here, and then I can help others.
Yes. Freeing up cognitive bandwidth. You're trying to do so many things when it comes to starting out. You're trying to market, you're trying to get your space ready, you're trying to get the curriculum, you're trying to get the decorations, you're trying to
Everything.
the families, you're trying to get the
Yeah,
children set. And you have to free up cognitive bandwidth. And
absolutely.
it's just like as a teacher, whenever we would be like, oh, I really want to create this lesson, you want to get on Teachers Pay Teachers, and somebody had already done it for you, and you're like, whoa, thank goodness. So we're so happy that you are a part of the Microschool Masterminds community. I know that not only are you blessed by the resources and the people, but we are also blessed by you. Thank you so much for your participation and for your just generous, open.
My pleasure.
Tell us about the call that you received when you buckled up your seatbelt. Who was that from?
So, once again, I'm gonna just preface by saying everything, like, if I wouldn't have experienced it, I would have been like, this is a fabricated story, because it is that much of divine intervention, of things that just, pieces that just fit together. Like, so I had my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, um, her mom works at a hybrid school locally, but not local enough to where, I say local, and in Louisiana, you have to understand local means you still have a good commute, because we are one red light towns. So she works about 40 minutes away. So for parents to have to commute to that hybrid school, 40 minutes there and 40 minutes back, when their job may be the other direction, it's difficult. So they do have options. So when I say we don't have options, I mean within a decent commute, like our area. So she works at a hybrid school, and she called me and she said, look, we just got out of a meeting, and she said they have been, the owners have been toying with the idea of putting out learning pods, almost like affiliates of our school, breaking out in different areas. And she said, they mentioned a local school, which was actually a school that I went to. It closed down. It was a private school, St. Philomena. It closed down due to enrollment. So 20 years ago, actually, 20 years to the day that she called me, it
Oh, yeah.
closed down.
Wow.
And as a joke, the day before, I'm sitting around talking with my coworkers, and they are all asking me, Lauren, what you gonna do? And I'm telling them, whatever God tells me to do. He just hasn't verbalized it yet. I'm waiting. And one of my coworkers, Bobby Sue, shout out to her, said, I know what you should do. You should reopen St. Philomena and run a school there. And I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, I'm going to run a school. The next day was the last day of school. Still don't know what I'm doing. Pick up all my stuff, buckle my seatbelt. I get this call, and she says they toying with opening up learning pods, and they mentioned maybe getting the St. Philomena building and opening the school there. And that was the Lord saying on my forehead, you said to hit you with it. I'm hitting you with it.
Wow.
Your friend told you yesterday you need to open a school at St. Philomena, and now they're looking for someone to do that. So all of this to say that was it. That was okay, I'm doing it. Now I am my own thing now. I am not affiliated with the people who originally called me, but this is what I mean by a tapestry. If
Right. They
they
just the seed. They just planted the seed
I
and
would
it
have never did
took.
this on my own.
Right.
Never. And so, you know, I got to talking with them, but then I realized I had to do something for my community. So, which is why I went the home study route. Um, all of my students are home study students, and then they come to my building and receive guidance from certified teachers because let's face it, parents work, but they want that homeschool experience for their child. So that is not quite the model that I was originally approached with. And that's okay because there's different things for different people. I felt like this is what my community needed. But like you said, they planted the seed. If it wouldn't have been them bringing that up, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. So that is why I'm always grateful, no matter the outcome of any situation. Be grateful for everything you encounter because it shapes who you are. It adds color to your tapestry, a stepping stone to get you to your destination. It might not be a success in your eyes, but you will look back and see there's a purpose.
Mhm.
So I really try to stress that to people. And I know when you're in some seasons, you're like, nothing is going my way. It is. It is. You just have to surrender and be patient. And I invented all these different entrepreneurships in my head. I did permanent jewelry. I did t-shirts. I even thought that I was going to be an educational consultant and train teachers. I invented that business, but nothing felt right. My discernment was saying, this is not it. This is not it. I can tell you with confidence today that for the first time in my life, I'm sitting here. This is the seat I need to be in. This is where I'm supposed to be because I surrendered. I'm getting teary eyed talking about it.
Oh, I've got chills 7 times throughout this conversation. And I'm so
um,
grateful for you sharing. This is
yeah,
beautiful. And you get
yeah.
to
So
work with
I want
your mom.
people and to have my mom, so it's just, and have my child here with me and reach people. Some of the students I taught in public school are now working for me as my teacher interns. So it's it's all God. I it's not me. I'm just out here
Thank you.
doing the work.
Thank you, God.
You know. Yes, I'm so grateful.
Yes. I'm so thankful that we started out the conversation with what truly mattered, which
Mhm.
was the spirit led
Absolutely,
about how God is through it all and he is working out this beautiful story. And thank you for your obedience. I know that there are so many times that you were really confused, I'm sure, and in a season of doubt, in a season of drought. And because you closed the door, he opened another one.
absolutely.
Lauren, let's go into a few logistics.
Okay.
I know so many people are like, well, golly, I have been doing this micro school for 3 years. How did you get so many students in just that small amount of time? How did you get everything set up in that amount of time? I think it's also very interesting that although someone approached you with an idea to possibly be an affiliate, I am curious, did they ever start in St. Filipino that affiliation with their school? So St.
No.
I was just sitting there waiting for someone to take, got it.
Yes. Yep.
Very, and you found a house.
I did.
And are there
But it's so small. We're busting at the seams. So I am active, like, and I'm a doer. So it is very hard for me to surrender. I'm gonna say that, and anyone who is listening to this who knows me can vouch for that. I do my own thing. And so to stop, calm down, not be the energizer bunny, and listen to the call is very hard. So, like right now, I wish I had a bigger building yesterday,
right?
but God is going to put it in my path when it is time. So we are enjoying our little farmhouse, schoolhouse right now, and we are vibing with it. And when the Lord is ready to give me a bigger place, it will be done.
Yes, and be faithful in the small things. Be faithful in the few things, which is what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And also not despising small beginnings. Same thing
Correct.
we started in our house. I thought, oh, this could be so much more and we could get out of this small space. But I also enjoyed it.
Oh,
So
I love it.
moment. Is the space that you are located in, is it zoned commercial?
No,
Okay. And in Louisiana, that does not matter?
nope.
Okay. And does Louisiana have educational savings accounts for students?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there's so many loopholes. So we just, I will start by saying Louisiana just came out with a Gator grant. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yes, I have.
So, but it's being rolled, like it literally came out this summer, but it's being rolled out in phases.
Mhm.
So I am a Gator grant provider. I was approved. So students can use the Gator grant if they are approved for my services. I would be considered, I fall under tutoring. They cannot use the funds to pay for the curriculum itself, which we use a Celis. I know everybody has their different things, but since so many of my kids are hybrid, I needed a program that if they needed to work from home, they could pick up without me with minimal questions until they got back in contact with me at school.
Love that.
So we use a Celis, and it's a subscription. So the only thing Gator Grant wouldn't pay for is that subscription. The rest, our services, our educational services are covered. However, they didn't budget for the correct amount, unfortunately. So not many people were able to get the Gator Grant. So we're just waiting for that second phase to
Okay.
come through. Um, yeah.
Do most of your children, did they come from public or private school, or were most of them homeschooled already?
Um, I have one child, so I have 30. I have one child with me that was homeschooled prior, three that came from like a hybrid program, and the rest are public.
Wow. And
Yeah.
how many days can children come? What's the maximum amount of days and time frame that they can come to your school?
So we have two daily options. They can either be a noon dismissal, which we consider a half day, or a full day and dismiss at 3:30. So, and then they can pick the days that they want to do, how many days a week they want to do that. One, two, five. Um, so I have a variety. I have some students that come 5 days a week, full day. I have some students that come 3 days a week and dismiss at noon. Um, we, my biggest thing is flexibility and open communication. Um, I want to be a safe space for families and students. And if a student can excel come get their work done in the noon time period and go home and do sports and other things, I want to be that for them. So I try to be very flexible and provide for parents what they need. And if a 5 day full day isn't financially, because we still working on that data grant, if they can't do that financially, I want to be able to say, okay, let's make a 5 day half day work, or we work with each other. So I have a modge podge of schedules.
I think what really does help is that you've streamlined your curriculum. It'd
Mhm.
be if you were also creating the curriculum and trying to keep up with the
Oh,
lesson.
yeah.
So I do believe with flexibility being your core value, one of them,
Hmm. Hmm.
having a curriculum that is truly flexible for you, for families, for the student is the right
Yes.
way to go. Because many of the Microschool founders, not all of them, but many of them, they create their own curriculum, or it is
Yes.
physical textbook, so to speak, or hands-on projects. And are you feeling it is, how do you feel about Acellus, and what has your experience been so far with using that platform?
This is crazy you ask, because my mom actually came and meet with me yesterday. It's weird having meetings with your mom. So staff meetings. So she came sit with me, and we were looking and through what the students were doing, and she said, Lauren, this is blowing my. So you have to remember, my mom entered the classroom in 1994. So she has seen major change throughout her time in the classroom. She went from you open up a book and you teach what you feel is important to follow these standards to the T.
Mhm.
Um, so when we pulled up the program together, she said, Lauren, this is everything I would have needed in one place. And we were also looking at, so I supplement with IXL. And I say that because I diagnostic test the students on IXL at the beginning of school to see where they are, what are they coming to me with, and where do I need to get them. Um, I learned education in the age of standards, and I'm an accountant, so I'm very data driven. That is just me. So I like to see the numbers, and I love to see growth. I am not um, I'm not crazy. I know that a student cannot go from a third grade math level to ninth grade in no time. That takes time. And I know that. And all I'm looking for is growth. So IXL allows me to, as students are working individually on their Acellus, I remediate with IXL, and it groups students based on their needs. So you may have a second grader and an eighth grader together learning one concept because that eighth grader has a learning gap back from second grade. It's not based on grade level or ability. It's just, what gap do we need to fill in? Louisiana, so I call it a pothole. It is like a pothole in the road. If you continue to, I'm sure y'all have better roads than we do. If you continue to ride on that pothole, it will just increase in size, get worse, and then you damage your car. If we
Oh,
do not fill in the learning gap of the child, it will eventually damage the child because they start to realize I'm missing something. Once they get old enough, they see that.
they
They
do.
recognize I'm not getting this. And it's not because I'm dumb. These kids know what to do. They don't have those foundational skills. And so I use IXL as a foundational filler, because we can keep giving them current grade level work, but if we're not addressing the issue, the pothole, the current work is going to go straight over their head. So I understand in a traditional school setting, this is very difficult to do because you're one teacher in a room full of kids, sometimes 30 kids, looking at you like, I'm waiting for you to work on this curriculum. I can't do it by myself. But Acellus allows me to have them work it guides them through the program. They watch the videos. They have vectored instruction if they're struggling a little bit. And as they're doing that, I'm pulling them and working on remedial skills. So this has just been, I've seen so much growth in just a month that I can't wait to see where we are in May. So,
I'm listening to you and I'm so engaged. I am proud of you. I
thank
feel
you.
hope for your students. And I'm thinking, you truly are a micro school mastermind. You are a mastermind. You have, you don't have to be a mastermind in something that you've been studying for 25 years, or you have to have it perfectly. You are weaving the tapestry and you are creating this micro school experience as a master of someone who is truly passionate about education and
You
students.
said it. You said it. I was thinking the word passion in my head. That is all it takes, honestly.
Yeah.
And look, not everybody will be, and I get it, because I encounter students who are not as passionate about solving for X as I am, because I am very passionate about algebra. But everyone needs to find that fuel that lights their fire. For me, it is this, and it took me a while to find it. I believe in offering options to families and students, and I am pumped up about that. And that keeps me going and keeps me digging for more ways. How can I reach this child? How can I reach this child? And now my fire has reignited my retired mother, who cannot wait to come back and teach kids after being out in the classroom.
Yeah.
So not everybody's going to be pumped about the same thing, and that's okay. But if people find their thing, their niche, imagine how we all could just be living on cloud nine, you know?
It's so good. And thank you for using the word pumped up because
That's my thing.
we are so pumped up over here. And
I'm always pumped up.
I'm just so thankful for this conversation.
Me
I'm
too.
so thankful for the opportunity to continue to work with you and grow with you through Microschool Mastermind.
Yes.
I know that even though we have this moment together, we have other opportunities in Microschool Masterminds. I cannot wait for the day where we're actually sitting in the same room. We
I
will,
can't wait.
we are going to have a moment where all of us are coming together to celebrate and to learn from each other. I have one burning question. And I know
Okay.
that after this podcast episode, people are going to be probably messaging you through Facebook, asking you masterminds. I want to know, what does a day look like? Because you've got some kids coming half a day, some kids coming a full day, some kids coming one day, some kids 5 days. What does a day look like in order for these children who used to go to school to build community, but they're also working online? Take us through a day.
Okay. So I will preface by saying, when I would explain this to a prospective family, there would normally be silence after I would explain that they could possibly finish their work by 12. And they're like, I want to believe you, but I'm struggling, because all they've known is traditional school settings. And I have to explain, there is, and I call it fluff time. There's a lot of fluff time built into a schedule because a teacher is being pulled like a rubber band. You have to stop. This child needs a band aid. Oh, announcement, stop. We have to do this. When a child is just working on their own, they got their headphones on and there's no distractions unless they need to come meet with me or they have a question. They get up and go to the bathroom. They don't have to raise their hand and ask me to do that. They need to refill their water bottle. We have the fountain right in the back. They go do that. Whereas in a classroom, you don't realize, but those are all a minute, 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? That adds up. So it has been an eye opener for parents as well to see what a schedule looks like. But so every day, Students arrive here by 8 o'clock. I give them from 8 to 8:15 to mingle. Some arrive before that. I'm here because I'm so pumped up by 7 every day. So I tell the parents, look, if you see my car, drop them off. So students come in, and by 8:15, we all gather together as a group. I have from kindergarten all the way to an 11th grader. We gather together in the living room, and we pray, and we have an anchor prayer that we start off with every morning, and we just say, God, thank you for bringing us here today together and center our hearts and our minds. And so my school is called the Anchor Learning Center. And I have in the prayer that God, let this be a safe harbor for all of us, and let compassion and kindness be the winds that get in our sail and move us forward. So I love centering ourselves and starting with that. And then we do pledge, and we all journal, and I got that from you. And I love that because it centers them. So they all have a journal entry every morning. They come in. Sometimes it's a funny one, sometimes it's serious. I just want them to put thoughts to paper. We do that till about 8:30, and we are like a well-oiled machine over here. It did not even take
Girl.
I don't even have to say anything. And that's how I operated my classroom. I believe in student independence and critical thinking. And because let's face it, when they leave me and they're operating in the real world, they have to self-reflect and say, wait, what should I be doing next? No one's going to sit at their desk with them. No one's sitting, girl, I had to self-reflect this whole time. Nobody was guiding me, So that is so important. To be independent. And so I tell them, when you are done your journal, I showed you where it gets picked up, go pick it up, start your Acellus. And look, you can hear a pin drop. They finish that, they put it up, they start their Acellus. So they have their 4 courses: ELA, math, science, and social studies. They work on their assignments for the day. They know what it's outlined. I've guided them through that the first few weeks, and they do that until 10 o'clock. My favorite thing is that we can have breaks longer than 10 minutes. The schools here have like 10 recesses, like 2 of them for the entire day. They're kids. If you ask me to sit down for 8 hours and I'm bouncing off the walls, they have this built up energy. They need to let that out. So from 10 to 10:30, they go out, they mingle. Now, we in Louisiana, it is hot right now. So I say, you have to go get some fresh air. You have to go play. We have football, cornhole, all the things. They go outside, get some fresh air. They get their snack. A lot of them have been coming in doing puzzles, reading, mingling, because it's hot. And I get it. So then they come back in, and from 10:30 to 10:45 is independent reading. I want them to come in, silence. We just come in from running and being crazy. Everybody reads. They know they bring their books, or they can go to the library that I have in the back and pick a book out. I want everybody silent and reading, because I believe in still holding the book and doing that old school. Everybody reads, and then from 10:45 to 11:45, I start pulling based on the IXL skills. They're working on their IXL on their own, and then we're pulling groups and remediating during that time. Students work on that for an hour, and then before you know it, it's 12 o'clock dismissal. My 12 o'clock people start packing up. They leave, we dismiss them, and my people who stay get to start with their lunch. They get an hour and 15-minute break for lunch, play, free time, brain break. And I love that. And I have seen mental health. That is such a big thing to me. That's another story for another day, another podcast episode. Just soar, because they've gotten the opportunity to just be a kid, take a breather, and not feel like they're working. And being in this house is a mind trick, I tell people, because they like, I'm in a house. I'm not doing schoolwork. They
Right.
are.
Right. I know.
If you look at our group picture, three of my kids in the front row do not have shoes because they are that comfortable. They come in and kick off their shoes, sit in their beanbag, and get to work. And that is what matters to me. They feel comfortable, accepted. So after their break, it's already 1:30. Anybody who hasn't finished their daily work can get on. That's like my Mod Podge time. Somebody needs to be pulled, I'll pull them. My student interns will pull other people. Finish up your daily work. Everybody's doing what needs to be done so that when we walk out the door, we can all say today was a success. And then, I mean, you blink and it's 3 o'clock.
I know.
I've
I
never
know.
had days fly so fast.
So
So
time flies
yeah,
when you're having fun.
when you pumped up, it flies by.
It does. One last one. I know one more. What ages?
Okay, so originally this was only, remember, I just started this in May. This was going to be a K through 8, or I was going to do first through 8. And then I was approached, please take my kindergartner. I'm sending my older child. Okay. So I took a kindergartner. And then I was approached by my niece, actually, my husband's sister's daughter. They came to me and said, look, she really needs an environment like this, and she's in 9th grade. I said, bring her on. Why
Oh,
not? So I
right.
called, I got in touch with my new LDOE friends, and I said, okay, what do I have to do to make this work for high school? And I got all my ducks in a row, and we are just killing it with high school courses. And then I have somebody say, okay, I'm in 11th grade and I really need, come on, come on over. So my oldest is an 11th grader.
And I know that they still feel accepted and they still feel seen. They still feel heard. They still feel safe. They get to be
There's
our
no age level, like no one knows. And that's what I love.
yeah.
No one knows ages, no one knows abilities, no one knows grades, because in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't matter.
Ah,
It doesn't. You're learning, you're communicating with each other, and no one has to feel lesser than, because, and that was what always would, a punch in the gut when a student would say, I can't do it. Yes, you can. You just need time.
mhm.
And so they have the time in here. There's no rushing. I'm not timing anybody to see how fast you can read. You can read, that's what matters. And we're going to work to get you to where you need to be, because we all operate at different paces. None of
Yeah.
us can run a 5K at the same pace. Why are we making children read at the same pace? It's
Amazing analogy. I love that. Very good.
so
Thank you, Lauren. I want to end this with a call to action for those who are, no matter if they've not started, if they've started, what is one mindset shift that you really recommend people stop and hone in on?
my biggest thing would be, and it can differ from person to person. Some people may say, trust your gut, trust your instinct, listen to that discernment, listen to God's voice. You know, if something, and I'm going to say, doesn't feel right, doesn't feel, when you're being called to more. We have people with so many gifts that are, God doesn't want us to settle. He does not. He wants you to step out of your comfort zone. Is it scary? 100%. Will people question your sanity? I am living proof. Yes, they will. But if you hear the voice, if you know this is what you're supposed, no one knows your heart but you and God. And so if that is the journey you're supposed to be on, roll with it. You're going to hit potholes. It will be difficult, but with God, with your discernment, with your gut instinct, you will end up where you need to be. And not only you will benefit from it, but everyone's lives that you touch by following your heart. And I am living proof of that, as are you. So, I mean,
Thank you so much. Thank you for your story, for your testimony, for your heart, for your courage.
thank you for having me. I've been wanting to share. Like, I just want to scream it from the rooftops. I keep telling my husband, if someone would give me a stage and a mic, I would just go on and on. Like, I just want people to find their thing, to find,
Yes,
everyone deserves to feel this way. No one should dread or cry to go to work and do what you're called to do. If you're very, very upset to get up and go to work, chances are that's not your calling. And I'm not saying, up and stop, but that's when you need to discern. That's when you need to surrender. Okay, God, where do I need to be? You put me where I need to be, and it's in your hands.
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, God. Lauren,
Yes.
where can people interact with you?
So I have a website. It is theanchorlearning.com. There I have like just a question form, like at the bottom. Hey, I'm curious about blah blah blah. We even offer after hours tutoring. That's on there. So they can type a question there. I have an interest tab where it's kind of like a screening. You tell me a little bit about your family, about your student, any needs you may have, anything I need to know, because I'm I'm not doing this for money, so I'm doing it for you and your child. And so I want to do no one a disservice. If there's something I can't meet you in the middle with, then I will be honest with you and tell you that. And so I have that interest farm and I want to know that. But hopefully once I get my big building and I am booming and have all the resources, I can just take everyone in.
Absolutely.
Um, but I'm also on Facebook, the Anchor Learning Center. Um, I am working on all the social media things. I just have so many irons in the fire right now that I'm like, okay, we're gonna stick with Facebook and a website and
And
call
that's
that a day.
that's truly enough for sure.
Yeah.
Also, too, I'm excited for our next Microschool Masterminds. I want you to be able to
Yes.
speak to our community as well. I know that I'm
Awesome.
talking with you more. Thank you for being a Microschool Mastermind,
Thank you so much.
your service to the world. We love you, Lauren, and
Thank you.
to the hands and the ears of people. God bless you and may He keep you. And I cannot wait because the best is truly yet to come.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.